What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of New Gameplay Today. Thanks for tuning in to Game Informer. I'm your host, Alex Van Aken. Today, joined by the man who's just returned from Japan, Marcus Stewart. Hello.
Hello, you are speaking to the new owner of Japan. I went there and I took it over, and now it's under my name.
Wow, really? I knew you could do that in England. You know, you could buy a lordship, right, online, and you get like a square foot of land.
Right.
It's like a fun gimmick for Christmas and the holidays. Highly recommend. But you bought a country, you're saying?
It was a little more hostile. All I'm going to say is maybe don't watch the news.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well, let's not talk about the news, Marcus. Let's talk about video games, specifically Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Tell me about this game. You previewed this game a couple months ago for us. This is a new build that they are showing as part of a new preview roundup. Yeah.
So what you're seeing here is a battle with one of the new characters in the game, Edge, who is a mysterious warrior who apparently sort of has a central role in the plot. And yeah, like you said, I got to check this game out a few months ago. And what I'm really excited about with this game is that Ubisoft Milan, who was sort of leading development on this, kind of went back to the drawing board. They aren't just doing more Mario Rabbids. As you can see here, one of the big changes is that they got rid of the grid. Yeah. So it's still a turn-based game, but they wanted the action to feel a lot more dynamic, and also to sort of rope in even more newcomers, because they mentioned that the first Mario Rabbids was a great introduction to turn-based strategy. They got a lot of people that don't normally play that genre to get into, what was the first game? Kingdom Battle, the first game.
Yeah.
So they wanted to push it further, like, well, what if we just got rid of the grid altogether? So now, as you can see, you can move anywhere you want within a given character's radius. So, and you control the characters as you would, I guess, maybe like a normal third-person game, like you're just kind of moving them freely to whatever point of cover that you want.
Yeah.
Which sounds really nice. I think that, that's probably one of the more limiting aspects of turn-based strategy games is that grid, and maybe for some people it's not fun. It can feel a little restrictive. So just being able to, freely go, you know what, I'm just going to run over there just because I can. Sounds like a really nice change. As you can see, Edge there doing a little slide, taking out that enemy.
Yeah, it's a little weird. So are things based on traditional turn-based strategy of action points that you use to move, to attack, to heal, and some games like Mutant Year Zero, you have to spend your action points to like reload. But here, like you said, you can just move around freely within your radius. So do you just like move to the spot you want to go to, hit the cover, and then it ends your turn? Is that pretty much how it works?
I mean, you don't have to end your turn. You can do your attacks and your abilities as well. But yeah, by and large, that's pretty much how it works. And so one of the big new features of this game is, as the title suggests, the Sparks, which are sort of like, they're like a fusion of Rabbids with the Lumas from Super Mario Galaxy.
Yeah.
And you've already seen a few of them during this video, but basically they're these, or equipping them gives your ability sort of different properties, whether they be elemental. So you see Mario he has that little green Luma.
A poison or a slime kind of ability.
Yeah, and other Lumas have like elemental things like, now you have fire attacks, or now you have ice attacks, or other ones will do sort of stat boost of like, hey, you got, greater defense, greater attack, which can be useful for maybe improving the inherent weaknesses that a character might have, or just, maybe strengthening their, already positive attributes. Like, hey, Luigi's really fast. What if he moved faster,
Yeah.
So I'm going to give him a spark that does that. And each character can equip up to 2 different sparks at a time. And this game wants to encourage players to really get, experimental, like really have fun mixing up the different sparks to see what combination of abilities you can have. And also just allow for a more interesting team layout. And to that end, unlike the first game, you can have any sort of assemblage of party members as possible, because if you remember the first game, you always had to have at least one Rabbid and one like Mario character.
Yeah.
Whereas this game, you can have any combination. So if you want all
Okay,
Rabbids,
I like that a lot more.
yeah, I like that too. It's like if you want all Rabbids or all Mario or any combination in between, you can do that.
Yeah, especially because they all have, different, specialties. So you're always, in the first game, you're kind of just locked in. Okay, well, I'm limited. My creativity as far as combat goes is kind of, you couldn't truly, create a team of exactly who you wanted. So that's a very welcome change.
Yeah. Outside of the battles, the world exploration has been dramatically expanded. So, this game takes place in space. They're kind of going for a Mario Galaxy-ish vibe where you'll be traveling to different planets. And each planet is pretty much has its own self-contained world. The big hub world and Kingdom Battle.
Yeah.
This game basically has multiple worlds of that size from each planet. And they described each planet as having its own self-contained story. And each world has just a greater amount of exploration where there's sort of like a Metroid-esque style progression where there will be areas that you can't access unless you unlock new abilities for your little Beepo, the little Roomba robot buddy. So, you'll walk around and be like, oh, there's this wall here I can't get to. And then eventually you'll get the power to like cross bridges or break down barriers, which will encourage you to revisit worlds. And
I know there's also like world puzzles now.
Yeah.
I think I've actually got some footage I can put in here of there was like a rotating puzzle, almost like something you'd see in like an Uncharted game, right? Like, and I don't remember having those sorts of puzzles in the first game. I think those are new.
Yeah, those are new, and like they want the exploration to just feel bigger. There's side quests now too, so every world has like NPCs you can complete side quests. If you want to do that. You're free to beeline the main story if you want, but there's just a lot more going on outside of combat because a lot of people liked the exploration in the first game. They thought the world was pretty, but they just wish they could engage with it. So with the sequel, they were like, well, let's give them what they want. There's a bunch of new stuff you can do in the overworlds now.
Yeah, I love that. Any final thoughts before we get out of here, Marcus?
Yeah, like I said, I'm excited to play this. I really like the first game. I think the first game was a pleasant surprise for a lot of people, and it's cool to see them build upon it and also not rest in their laurels with all these big ideas. And yeah, this is one that I can't wait to get my hands on in October 20th when it comes out.
Yeah, this is I'm right there with you, Marcus. October 20th, I will be playing this day one, regardless of if we get press codes or not. Like this is one of those games I'm planning to go out and get myself, just because I was such a big fan of the first game. I'm still a little skeptical on how the free roaming will play as a turn-based, strategy game. But I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. The first game was such a wild left turn. They proved themselves with that. So little changes here and there. I'm gonna trust that they have found the fun as it is. And yeah, thank you everybody out there for watching this episode of New Gameplay Today. If you enjoyed it, be sure to click the like button, subscribe if you're new around here. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.